Sort out who was responsible for what and where planning failed at the Pennsylvania rally last Saturday, where 4 people were shot, including former President Trump.
The Butler Township Police Department told the Secret Service ahead of Saturday's campaign rally that it could not place a patrol car in front of the building that Thomas Matthew Crooks fired from. We know that building was outside the Secret Service secure perimeter, and the Secret Service director says local police were inside the building. The Butler Township Police says its officers weren't responsible for securing it. And that has been echoed by the Butler Township Commissioner, who says 7 Butler Township officers at the rally were all assigned to traffic detail.
Fox's CB Cotton, a Secret Service spokesman, says Director Kimberly Cheadle has no intention of stepping down. The Homeland Security Department is trying to postpone Cheadle's scheduled Monday hearing with the House Oversight Committee. A Georgia man is accused of posting online threats targeting FBI Director Christopher Wray. The Justice Department just confirming an arrest. Former President Trump makes his acceptance speech just hours from now at the Republican National Convention.
Everybody's wondering what we're going to hear from Donald Trump tonight, because remember, he essentially said he's tearing up his original speech and he's rewriting it as a result of that assassination attempt.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Milwaukee. President Biden, meantime, is in Delaware, isolating at his beach house, but still conducting business from there with a case of COVID. We're just getting word that Bob Newhart has died. The deadpan accountant turned comedian who became one of the most popular TV stars of his time after striking gold with a classic comedy album. His publicist says he died in Los Angeles after a series of short illnesses. Bob Newhart was 94. A sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow down 533 at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that mixed up your files has your Social Security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info and last 3 addresses. Your info is in endless places that could accidentally expose your info to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Prosecutors say a review of body cam footage does not support the use of deadly force as a sheriff's deputy faces a murder charge after a woman who called 911 was shot and killed in Illinois.
Court documents say that former Sangamon County, Illinois Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, who is white, shot Sonia Massey, who is black, in the face during a tense moment over a pot of hot water in her home. She had called 911 on July 6th with concerns about an intruder in her home, and Grayson and another deputy responded. Prosecutors say while they were at the scene, Grayson yelled at Massey to put a pot down. That's when she put her hands in the air and ducked for cover before she was shot. They also said Grayson discouraged the other deputy from getting a medical kit from their vehicle.
Fox says Tanya J. Powers. Grayson is charged with first-degree murder. They plan to release body cam footage Monday. A Seattle police officer recorded on a body camera joking and laughing about a student hit and killed by a police car has been fired.
Interim Seattle Police Chief Sue Rahr announced the firing of now former officer Daniel Otterer. He was heard on video laughing about Janavi Kandula's death. She was hit as another officer was speeding to answer a call. In the interim chief's email to the department, she said the officer's comment reflected not just on Seattle officers, but on the profession of law enforcement. She also said it was her duty to uphold the high standards of the department. Otterer is vice president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild, which said in a statement it condemned the comments, but more must be known about the full context of the taped conversation. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Recapping the retreat on Wall Street, the Dow drops 533 points. The S&P loses 43. The NASDAQ extending yesterday's plunge, down another 125 points. Elisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign and have a Saturday delightful spell of mid-July weather on tap over the next few days with mild days, pleasantly cool nights. We'll see temperatures moderate just a little bit over the course of early to mid next week. No real heat in sight, but signs of the same boundary that came through the air a couple of days ago with the severe weather. At least the shower chances are back in with the same aforementioned boundary by early next week. Forecast high today with sunny skies, pleasant humidity for a change in 77 expected across the area. Light north wind tonight, clear, cool for July. Lows down into the low to mid 50s. Tomorrow mostly sunny and 78. Weekend forecast sunny and 79 on Saturday. A Sunday high up around 80. Shower chances increase by late Monday, the high around 82. Then a couple of scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, both early to mid morning, late afternoon, Tuesday through Thursday. Highs right around or just north of 80. Overnight lows in the low to mid 60s. For CVJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
It's The Drive, ESPN 93.5. No Lante, no Derek Piper right now. Derek down there in Peach Jam. We will talk to him in just about 10 minutes. Set to join us at 3:15. Get his thoughts on everything Illini recruiting. I know he's seen a couple of big boys down there. Jasper Johnson was a guy that he saw light it up. I want to ask him about that. And he's seen plenty of Illini targets. We'll get all his thoughts there. We'll also see if he penetrated Augusta National, if he found the right bush to
just peep in through.
Yeah, I didn't ask him if he's going to be live from a high school gym or if he's going to be live from the bushes of Augusta.
Yeah, we're going to just hear floor squeaking or just hear four.
Four?
Or you could just hear NCAA 25 in the background.
That's true. Yeah, I got to get his thoughts on. I know NCAA 25. He said, I know he and Joey Wagner had a tweet exchange on Twitter that I saw where he said he was going to try to hook it up on the hotel Wi-Fi at night. And I got to see how that went because I have my concerns.
I did that I'm not proud of this, but when I went to Detroit and I was by myself for the Sweet 16, on that day off, I brought my Xbox and Wi-Fi was all right.
It worked
at the hotel, so at least in Detroit it was okay. So
you also get to hear Lante's big booming voice at 4:05. He'll be in here by then.
Yeah,
on
don't
his
worry,
way
guys.
back from watching Andrew Tay light up the radar guns on the bump. So glad that he was able to go and see that. But you got the two kids holding down the fort for at least the first hour. Kyle Tosk and Jimmy Sebeski here with me. Is there anybody at Peach Jam, any Purdue targets? Because I know Purdue is still about as much of a developmental high school program as there is out there. Anybody you're eyeing down there?
You know, I'm not really sure. I haven't really gotten well versed on the 2025 class. Kind of just more focused on the upcoming season. I'm more of an in-season guy, as we mentioned yesterday. I don't really follow any particular sport all year round. I kind of hop from place to place. So I'm not quite in college basketball mode yet, but you know, obviously as a Purdue guy, it never fully leaves your brain. You got to kind of always have it, you know, ready to go. And living here too, you know, it's college basketball is kind of a year-round sport in Champaign and in West Lafayette.
Yeah, just for Illinois, to me, I used to really follow high school recruiting closely, like when I was in high school and when, you know, Io and Adam Miller and Kofi and some of these guys are getting recruited, and just has changed so much. I'm interested to ask Pipes if the energy and vibe around Peach Jam is still the same as it was when he started covering these back 10 years ago, because it's interesting just with the portal and everything. I personally I feel like I read Pipe stuff and I'm like, I didn't even know we were recruiting this guy, because I don't have the wherewithal to follow it as much anymore. But it's Illinois is in on some big fish, that's for sure. And Orlando Antigua is flexing his muscles out there on the recruiting trail, and excited to hear from Pipes about that. I know we kind of ended the show yesterday, real quick before we get to Derek. We were talking some Big Ten football, and I know that, and we can continue this after Pipes is out, but Big Ten football, I know you mentioned it'll be interesting to see some of the new matchups that the conferences bring, and I'm excited. It's fun. Illinois goes to Oregon this year in football, and I'm not excited about what the result of that game is going to be, but I feel like it's going to be cool. As much as it's going to feel weird, it's going to be cool to just experience like Illinois playing at the Rose Bowl in a regular season game, and just it's going to feel awkward, but also I think it'll make, especially for the better programs, your Ohio State, your Michigan, some really fun matchups.
I think the as much as I don't really like the whole conference realignment thing, it is going to make the regular season of college football excellent. I was kind of going through, honestly, some of the higher ranked teams, at least in the college football game, and looking at their schedules to see kind of what big matchups there were. And in the Big Ten and the SEC, it is just a full-on slaughterhouse. I mean, there are so many top 10 versus top 10, top 5 versus top 5 matchups.
Do we know who Oklahoma and Texas are playing on their SEC schedule? We got any Georgia, Bama?
Texas. So Georgia's got the hardest road schedule I've ever seen. Georgia goes to Austin to face Texas, who's projected top 5. They go to Ole Miss, who's a projected top 10 team, and they go to Tuscaloosa.
Wow.
And Alabama's got a tough schedule. I think Alabama plays Oklahoma. Oklahoma at the back end plays LSU as well. So it's interesting. Another thing I'm intrigued of, Texas A&M was a very big rivalry back in the Big 12 days, and I know they're not too fond of each other. They play at the end of the year, and I think that's going to be their new end-of-season matchup, so that'll be fun.
Are they protecting the Red River rivalry in the SEC?
Well,
still?
it is this year. I don't know if it's it should be.
It should be.
I mean, that I look forward to that every year. But I think there is another game, another big-time game that week. And I think that's going to be during the Purdue-Illinois game.
Oh, yeah, because that's what America's going to be
at least
really watching.
I'll be dialed into that one. I'll be there in person.
Can Illinois finally break the owned by Purdue football string here? How many?
And basketball.
Yeah, you had to throw that one in there, of course. Yeah.
At least 3. I mean, since I've been a Boilermaker, I've now seen an Illinois.
That bowl team that Illinois had in 2019 went on the road, and it was like the rainiest, worst weather game. Illinois was like sliding in the back of the end zone.
The crap out of Purdue in
and
that
I think
game.
that's the last time that they won.
Well, I'm looking at 2020. See what happened.
Of course, that I feel like 2020 might have been COVID impacted.
Canceled. We'll see. I mean, neither Purdue or Illinois was very strong that season. Purdue beat Illinois here in Champaign, 31-24 on Halloween in 2020. So I believe 2019, and I think that was in West Lafayette because I remember there was a string of years where the road team would win the Purdue Cannon every year. So yeah, Illinois 24-6, October 26th, 2019.
I remember that one being just a slop fest on the field. Illinois was like doing belly slides into the end zone when they scored. That was
like that Bears-Niners game a couple years back.
Yeah, that Justin Fields one. That was was that the first
weird
game
back
2 years
game,
ago? And then the Bears lost like the next 12 and won 2 more games the rest of the year.
That was Trey Lance got hurt the next game and then kind of disappeared from football.
Quick thought before we get Derek Piper on. Year 2, Ryan Walters at Purdue. How are you feeling about this roster?
It's very difficult when you have such a change of style. Jeff Brom was a very offensive-minded, pass-happy coach, and the defense was not really the main feature of the team. I mean, we had multiple 500-yard passing games in Jeff Brom's tenure and a very successful end of the tenure for Brom. So he kind of came in where Purdue's football expectations were higher than they normally would be. And now he comes in as a defensive coordinator, more of a, run-heavy team, led the conference in rushing during conference games, which is something I didn't think I'd see Purdue ever do. So I think it was hard because he's not recruiting his kids. Like, it doesn't have his style of team. I think now that he has both Devin Mockabee and former Illini Reggie Love in that backfield, another year of Hudson Card, Obviously, we lost a lot of receiving talent, but the offensive line should be better. The schedule is not going to tell you that the team is going to allow the record for the team to be better, but I think the team will be better, but probably have a similar record because of the playing the Ohio States and the Oregons of the world.
Yeah, they've been pretty transfer heavy, haven't they, on both sides? They've had a lot of guys leave.
A lot of guys coming from Georgia. At least 3 or 4, which should be a good sign. They were at least talented enough.
The Georgia scraps are usually pretty good players if they move down a level. I mean, those guys, with the amount of 5 stars they have starting, if you're like the second or third stringer, you're probably a quality starter at 88% of the country.
So, I will say this. If Purdue goes 4-8 again, they will have been a better team than they were a year ago. I think I can confidently say that. Although they played Ohio State and Michigan last year, so who knows?
Yeah, I just hope that Illinois. I think that's going to be a big game for both team seasons. That Illinois-Purdue game. It's in Champaign this year, right?
Fall break, so works out for me.
That is going to be a very massive game. I think if either team wants to get bowl eligible, those toss-up games, you're going to lose to the Oregons, the Michigans, the Penn States of the world. Those are going to be really, really massive. But we can.
On October 12th, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but
all good.
Penn State at USC, Texas at Oklahoma, Red River, Ole Miss at LSU, and Ohio State at Oregon all that day. And, of course, highlighting that will be Purdue at Illinois.
I am so excited. Now, I'm probably going to be occupied by some Illinois football, depending on what the times are. That Ohio State-Oregon game, I think, might be the game of the college football season.
I hope they don't do that big noon. Well, actually, they can't. That would be 9 a.m. kickoff local time. I don't know if that's doable.
Hopefully it's a night game. That would be...
Because that's what makes big noon kind of complicated now, is that some of these places you can't kick off that early. And, I mean, even if Oregon's on the road, you're going to really do that to that fan base?
Although they were kicking off when they went to Colorado for like 5 straight weeks. Now, I know that's mountain time, right? So it's at 1 hour, but it's 10 a.m.
Well, no, that's 2 hours back of Eastern, though. So.
Right. So I'm saying it's 10. They kicked off at 10 like 4 straight weeks when they couldn't get enough of the 4-8 Colorado Buffaloes, who are just America's sweetheart. But yeah, no, that's an interesting point. I hope that's a night game. I hope I can watch that because I think that is going to be a heck of a showdown.
We should certainly not be the night game.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
The last 2 Purdue-Illinois football games have been the 2 extremes in the weather realm. Obviously, I don't know if you remember 2 years ago here in Champaign.
Oh, I was there. It was frigid.
Frozen game.
I had to leave the game like in the third quarter because I needed some warmth in my body.
And then last year, my 21st birthday, I was lucky. It was the day before. But it was just super, it wasn't super hot temperature-wise, but there was no wind, all sun, no shade. It was just hot. 3:30 game. Those will get you. So, I mean, hopefully we get, and October 12th should be some good weather.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully we get a lot of nice fall Saturdays for some tailgating and some college football. I'm excited. We're getting close. We can continue our football talk a little bit later on, but for now, let's turn it to Illinois basketball, more specifically high school recruiting. Derek Piper is all over it down there, and I guess it's kind of on the Georgia-South Carolina border down there in North Augusta. The Peach Jam Gym is technically in South Carolina, but he's staying in Augusta, Georgia, where of course, Augusta National is. We'll get the scoop on that and everybody that he has seen and is planning to see coming up next right here on The Drive. Stick with us. Of course, the Max Twin City Recycling text line always open as well. Lante will be here at 4 o'clock, and we'll get plenty of thoughts from him in hour 2. We will be back. Derek Piper is next. This is The Drive.
Looking for the perfect pair of boots? Come on down to Pard's Western Shop in Urbana. With an amazing selection that fits every style, Pard's has the perfect pair waiting for you the next time you're hitting the rodeo or stepping out in style. They've got great deals and sale prices on men's cowboy boots, girls' cowgirl boots, and kids' boots. And their friendly staff will make sure you leave with the boots you love. Pard's Western Shop, serving its customers with high-quality merchandise since 1968. Go see them today at 306 North Maple Street in Urbana.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Urbana's Market at the Square has been cultivating a vibrant scene in CU since 1979. Get to know your farmers bringing locally harvested honey, crafts, jewelry, art, fresh cut flowers, plus produce including fresh leafy greens and root vegetables, fresh baked treats, and a wide selection of proteins. Going on now, every Saturday, 7 a.m. till noon, rain or shine at Illinois and Vine, it's Urbana Market at the Square. Find Urbana Market on Facebook or urbanamarket.org.
Calling all golfers. The High School of St. Thomas More is hosting its second annual Tim Murphy Memorial Golf Outing August 2nd. All proceeds directly benefit the STM Athletic Boosters and all of its student athletes. Choose from the morning or afternoon flight or join them for the shindig and hog roast in the evening. It's all happening at Lake of the Woods on Friday, August 2nd. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Become a sponsor, register individually or as a team now at hs-stm.org. Go Sabres!
Racing, racing, racing. Friday Night Lights at Farmer City Raceway is a blast. Only $15 admission and kids 12 and under are free. This Friday, July 19th, it'll be the 14th annual Junior Kimmler Memorial $5,000 Mars Late Models, $2,000 Bill Marietta Memorial Mars Mods, and a full show. Head to 850 Grove Street in Farmer City with hot laps at 6:30. You'll buy the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Sticky nights and stuffy rooms make it hard to enjoy your home during the summertime? Call Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing to make sure your air conditioning is working at its peak performance. Tune up your AC by joining the maintenance program and get all the perks it has to offer. Call Dogtown to come out for a no-cost quote to upgrade your system today with a Lennox high-efficiency system that will be sure to save you money on your energy bills and let you relax comfortably. Call 217-841-4728 or visit dogtownheatingandair.com. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
It's The Drive, ESPN 93.5. No Lante just yet. He is en route to Philo, and he will be here at 4:05 for hour 2. Andrew Tay with a good outing down there in Decatur, and that is great to hear. He's been killing it, man. He's hitting 90 miles an hour. He's got college coach. He's got Illinois' pitching coach following him now. He's killing it. But Derek Piper is on the phone right now, joining us live from Peach Jam. Pipes, did you actually make it first off to Peach Jam, or did you get caught up a little bit Monday night, EA college football? I know I sat down, I got home, I sent you the video like 10 minutes after I got back to my apartment. I was already on the game. I look up and 3.5 hours have passed, and I can't even realize it. Did you get a chance to fire it up on Monday, and if so, did you make it safely to Peach Jam?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on your first main captain chair moment here on the drive. You're steering the ship, and we appreciate you for it.
Appreciate
we'll see
it.
if you and Jimmy got it in one piece and Lon gets there, although he's usually the guy that can steer it off course and whatnot. We know how he goes. But, I am down here at Peach Jam, currently at the gym. It's a great spot. It's one of the, really for me, it's the biggest event of the summer, and we'll get into the reasons why. But, yes, I will tell you, I was starting my drive on Tuesday. I was tired because I did stay up, I think about 1:30, maybe 2 in the morning there on Monday night, thanks to NCAA 25. Had to kind of delay it until the kids went down and whatnot. Then you had the old tornado warning.
Oh, yeah.
Got in the bathroom for that. So no thanks to the weather. But, yeah, I probably got 4 or 5 games in online. Me and my buddy kind of, I'm older than you are, and you and Jimmy, Kyle. So this is like going back to my childhood. It comes out at Best Buy or Walmart, and you get it at 11 o'clock or midnight, and then you play it until the sun comes up. So we tried to recreate that a little bit now that we're in our 30s. Didn't make it till the sun for good reason. That was for the better, but got online, got after it, probably going up against some 12 and 13-year-olds. We don't have a headset. We're not talking trash or anything, but the game's awesome. I've been really impressed with the graphics, and the playbooks are super in-depth and unique to each team and whatnot. So I'm all for. We don't even have to talk Peach Jam. We can just talk NCAA 25 for however long you want.
Well, I did want to ask, have you gotten a defensive stop yet? Because I'm struggling a little bit over here. I can't play defense to save my life.
Yeah, we were able to pick some people off.
I guess you're playing user versus user. It's a little.
Yeah, that's the thing. As somebody that's played Madden here in the time that NCAA has been off the grid, especially mess around on all Madden and like they might throw 1 or 2 incompletions in a game. The computer, I've been there. I've done that. So that stuff can get really difficult. And I don't have the same type of sample size, I guess, that you do. I haven't played the computer all that much, other than we were just messing around a little bit. But I have seen people online, including yourself, say how tough it is. So I'm going to find out, though. I didn't play. My wife knows this, so I don't have to hide it. I packed my PS5 with me in one of my bags. She's like, "Oh, you're going on vacation down to Peach Jam." I'm like, no, this is work. I promise you. But I haven't pulled it out yet. I'm sure the Wi-Fi at the old Quality Inn isn't going to hold up for any online gaming. So I will be alone in my room with the CPU, and then I'll really be able to get back to you if I get any stops tonight when I get that going.
Yeah, that first Illinois dynasty, which is what I started. It hasn't, let's just say my defense is not ranked in the upper tier of the country so far. Let's talk Peach Jam.
With Tyler Strain as a 83 or 84 overall?
Yeah, unfortunately. Even though somehow we got a great secondary, it's not like I'm using them with any effectiveness yet. I take the cheap method, and I'm like a defensive end, and I try to just get sacks, because if I'm a linebacker or a corner, I'm just getting toasted. All right, let's talk Peach Jam, which is why we had you on. That's what everyone wants to hear about. You said it's the biggest event of the year for you. Just tell us why that is, and just kind of what the scene is like there. With, you mentioned you go up on that track level and you see one half of the court. There's so many people packed in sometimes. Is it still like that even with, how much things have changed and how much high school recruiting is kind of taken a back burner to some of these other things, or is it still ever the same as it was, talent, coaches everywhere? What's kind of the scene like when you enter a gym for a big game, like an A.J. DeBonsta in action?
No, yeah, absolutely. It's, as you mentioned, that there's so much change with roster building and recruiting, and this is one thing that I've been doing this probably, I think now 10 or 11 years. I've been to probably 7 Beach Jams, and it's the same as it ever was. That's what I love about it. Is you walk in, you know that any game you see is going to have a bunch of high major talent in it. You're going to, of course, have the star power, 5 stars, and Nike does that with the UIBL. They've got the best league. They've had it forever. So to be able to just show up and see now, currently, right now, the coach is not able to be out there, but that's when it really gets fun, is when you just see all the big-time coaches, the presence of an entire baseline is just full, sometimes multiple rows deep of college coaches here to see their top targets and whatnot. And then, yeah, I mean, the fans come out, and you do have that track up there. Now, so far, you haven't had as many rows deep yet. I think as we get into tomorrow, the weekend, once you get Friday night, that's always a big time. That's actually when the coaches, the live period begins. It's going to be about, I think it'll be 5 Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, when they can hit the front door and get in here again. They were here this past weekend. But yeah, I think for me, it's the quality of the competition. What the EYL breeds is just those matchups that we all want to see. A bunch of guys that are ranked definitely in the top 100, but you really, if you look at the top 25, the guys that are 5 stars, it's pretty clear that the majority of those are definitely more than any other circuit are here and playing. So you've got that going, and this is the playoff. You have essentially what is the regular season during April through May at different spots. I got to go out in the live period in Indianapolis, one of the sessions, but this is where the top teams make Peach Jam, and then they have group play, and then bracket play is going to get going here Friday, and then you're going to crown a champion on Sunday. So NBA TV's been here broadcasting some stuff. They will throughout the weekend. I know the ESPNU has usually been involved as well. So just seeing, and former players too, I know that a lot's been made about Bronny, and I remember LeBron coming and watching Bronny, and you do have the Team USA stuff going on, so that's taken away some. But Chris Paul's here, and he has a team that he sponsors, and I've seen Carmelo Anthony, same thing, has a team that he sponsors. There's just a lot of stars in basketball. The best of the best what they do. Whether you have coaches, former players, NBA scouts for a lot of these things now, so you got that out there, and then a nice national media presence as well. And I'm just happy to be able to take it all in, like I usually do in my summer. And yeah, it continues to be one of the highlights for me.
You wrote a piece earlier today, or maybe it was last night, on Illini Inquirer about a new, pretty big fish that Orlando Antigua has entered the waters for here for Illinois. I'll let you give the rundown, but it's a name that Illini fans might not be as familiar with. Who have you seen, and who is the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, they won't maybe be familiar with the player's name, but the dad is definitely pretty recognizable, that being Carlos Boozer, former Chicago Bull, and he has a pair of twin sons, Cam and Caden Boozer. Cam is the number 2 overall prospect in 2025, right behind A.J. DeBonsta. And there's even been debate in the past of who belongs above the other as far as that goes. He's an elite prospect. As a big guy, he's a power forward that can bang inside, a good athlete, but also stretch it out and shoot some as well from 3. So he's big time. And then his twin brother, Caden, kind of gets overshadowed at times a little bit. And it sounds wrong to say. He's number 19 in the class. He's if you look at the composite, he's a 5-star, also 24/7. I'm just on the outside, so he's a high 4-star, but essentially a 5-star point guard. Guy that's played Team USA even in the World Cup with his brother on that Team USA squad that won gold, and he's led the UIBL pretty much throughout in assists. He's a tried and true floor general, someone that sees the court really, really well. 6'4", he's got size to him, and just he's very unselfish. He's one of those guys that just makes winning plays, willing to play defense, can score when you need him to, and then a lot of times it's just him getting out on the break and seeing things as they develop, or coming off a pick and roll and just manipulating the defense and making the right play. So, I mean, Orlando Antigua recruited him and his brother at Kentucky, had them both for an official visit last fall. They took a handful of officials. They went to Duke, of course. That's Carlos's alma mater, and they're a big player there. Also went to Kentucky, also went to Miami. That's where the boys grew up and where they're from. So they got the hometown dynamic as well. But Caden told me that after Jeremiah Fears decommitted, that Orlando hit him up and said, hey, let's see what you think of us, and if you're willing to give us a chance. And they had a Zoom earlier this week. Brad Drew was on there, and we'll see if it's late. It's late in the summer. It's late in the process. We'll see how much of a legit look he gives Illinois. But I think one thing that's interesting, and really there's a number of different things to break down with this, but one thing that's interesting from Illinois' standpoint of this pursuit is that they are really prioritizing, and their efforts are with Caden. And I'm not saying they wouldn't take Cam, because they obviously would, but a lot of these schools, I mentioned the main ones there, are trying to recruit them as a package deal. They play together pretty much everywhere, AAU, high school, Team USA. But Illinois is trying to see if maybe, they can get Caden on board. Then, of course, if they do that, they would try to go after Cam. But they want Caden to feel the love, because it feels like these others, Cam is the main attraction. So we'll see how that goes. Would they be willing to play at separate places in college, and ultimately how that plays out, I don't know. But it does help for Illinois' standpoint that you've got the familiarity with Antigua. You're coming off an Elite Eight. You're as appealing recruiting-wise in terms of what people think of Illinois basketball as you've been in a long, long time. And we saw how that helped with Will Riley, and I think that's kind of what you're hoping for here, is a late rally, have a connection that Antigua already had established, and see if you can take it to the finish line.
Anybody else on the Illini front in terms of guys that Illinois is either recruiting or making a priority? I know you saw Jasper Johnson. I saw you tweet that he was putting on a show. Now that one, as you've mentioned many times, is filled with some big-time programs in there. But anybody else Illinois-wise that you've seen so far or are looking forward to see that Illini fans should have their eyes on down there?
Yeah, you mentioned Jasper there, and had a really good game yesterday. A lefty, Team USA. Again, that's going to sound like a broken record, but I think that's something that is worth talking about, is just the aim that Illinois has in this class. And it makes sense, right? It makes sense when you go in the portal and be able to get players that are proven, players that are older, and just be able to attract talent with your NIL, with your program appeal. You go overseas. And also with this current roster that you'll be trying to then, push forward into the future, is there's not a lot of guys that are set to be gone for sure. Humrickhouse being the only one. Maybe KJ's a one and done. Obviously, you're going to have probably some transfers. We'll see ultimately, as far as guys transferring out, we'll see ultimately how that looks. But this could be a smaller class in 25. And from Illinois' standpoint, they're going to be very selective. They're going to take some big swings. If they don't connect, maybe then they go portal. Maybe then they look international. They're not going to take a lot of Plan B type of guys. So with Jasper, they're still fighting that one. There's been a lot of buzz here recently that Bama and North Carolina are probably on top. That's what our national guys have said. That's kind of been echoed by a few other people. I know that Kentucky, with his dad and being a former top football player there, and they're from that area, just right in Big Blue Nation's backyard, that they've been a player. But from what I've heard and gathered, it doesn't seem like people think that Kentucky is in the driver's seat right now, and maybe would be behind even an Illinois as far as pushing there. But Illinois hasn't given up there. They're going to continue to pursue that one, and we'll see. I think from Illinois' standpoint, you want to see him try to stretch this thing out a little bit longer. There's a little bit of talk that maybe it's going to be as soon as next week, 2 weeks, that he's going to announce. I think Illinois, he'd probably like it to last a little bit longer than that to try to continue to work that one. But yeah, beyond him, about to watch Brandon Lee. He's from Puerto Rico. He plays for the New York Rens. He's up there in the New York area, and he's a high volume scorer. Needs to be more efficient. I'm interested to see how he looks out here the rest of the weekend. A guy that Orlando Antigua, he's known his family for a long time. His dad was a former ball player, and Illinois offered a couple weeks ago. They're his lone high major offer right now, even though Pitt's been in there, Seton Hall's been in there. So I think Illinois has the inside track if they want it, and it's really about whether he shows that he can be a little bit more consistent. He takes a lot of shots. He's had some games. He averaged, I think, 23, 24 a game in the regular season, but his shot-making efficiency was down, and the three ball was below 30%. So can he take a high volume of shots and just make more of them, take good shots, those type of things. So that's something with him as well. I saw Amari Evans last night. He's a big physical forward from Pittsburgh, another one that Antigua's on, and this is a guy that he prides himself, number one, on winning basketball. One of those doesn't care how much he scores types. If you look at the regular season, he put up 10, 11 points a game. He'd shoot, 35+% from three. But he's one of those that wants to play defense, wants to rebound, wants to be physical. Tells me that, he looks up to guys like Marcus Smart, Josh Hart, guys that are willing to be, role players and do different things than just be a primary scorer. So he's someone that has impressed Illinois. Antigua's working that one, and Tennessee's on that one. There's a handful of others that are interested in him as a top 100 wing. So there'll be plenty to check out as the week persists. Might even go bounce over to Atlanta. The Adidas All-American camp's going on there starting tomorrow, so I might go see another crop of talent over there. But I do also want to mention Jackson Davis. That's one thing, I think people might wonder, how about the home state products? There's not a lot really in 2025, and even as far as the names in that class, Phoenix Gill's already committed and gone to Northwestern, and we know Illinois didn't press on that one. Ian Milicic ends up committing to Marquette. That was someone that Illinois liked, but they didn't press the gas there. They tried, but they didn't maybe go all in. But Marquette did a really good job and probably had that sewed up before Illinois could do too much. But 26, it's down. 27 is a really good group. Really, really good group. Mean Streets is super strong. Tim Anderson's connections to that program. McIntyre has Devin Cleveland, but I watched Mean Streets this early afternoon, and Jackson Davis, a point guard out of Warren, was sensational. He's had a fantastic week, looking like a bona fide, top 50 player. The only real knock on him is I think he's still kind of on the smaller side, 6 foot or thereabouts. Maybe he's going to have maybe a Jeremiah Fears-like growth spurt, and if he could really get another couple inches on him, that'd be great. But sees the floor extraordinarily well, great pace to him, can break guys down, and he's shooting it at a good clip now this week. I think that's something that before as a scorer he didn't pop a lot in the box score, but he's doing it all. And Illinois has been on him early. They offered him maybe even his first offer. They got him on campus for a visit during the season last year, so he's been down to see a game. And between him, Davion Thompson, Bolingbrook, and then Howard Williams, who I loved in the spring out of Whitney Young, those three are the big trio on Mean Streets, and I think they're going to be a big player to see who wins that 15U championship. They've been a powerhouse at that level.
Derek, it's Jimmy. Do you have any non-Illini or maybe just Big Ten opponent targets that have impressed you there, or anybody that Illinois is not necessarily taking a glance at yet?
I'm not talking Purdue, Jimmy. If that's what you're asking. I'm just kidding. That's a good question. That is one thing I like down here is being able to lay eyes on some guys. It's not even Illinois related. Being able to just see different targets or just guys that are 5 stars and just try to learn the field a little bit more. Admittedly, since getting down here, I've primarily focused on the Illinois interests and targets and guys they're looking at. But that's something I'll do throughout the weekend, is look at some other targets and see what's up with them. And nothing too notable right now. And again, kind of, the coaches aren't out yet. So, but yeah, that's always a fun exercise. Like, oh, Painter's watching this game, so I wonder who he's looking at, and kind of dig into the stats and see, oh, okay, this guy's got 20, and you look at his recruiting profile, oh, yeah, Purdue's in on that one, or really throughout the Big Ten or anywhere in college basketball. So that's one of the things I always enjoy, and it's one of the fun parts of coaches being out here, is kind of coach watching who they're following and whatnot, and that's something that, especially as the live period starts tomorrow, I'll be able to do a little bit more of.
Real quick, Pipes, I want to go back. You mentioned that trio, that Main Streets trio, that 2027 in-state class. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's supposed to be one of the best in-state Illinois high school classes that we've seen in quite some time. Is that a year you think Illinois could really kind of try to go all in on that high school front and really try to lock down some of that in-state talent? Because, man, those guys are really popping.
They are, yeah. No, in terms of depth, especially, it's thought to be as good as it's been in a long time now. I think if we would have seen, and we'll still have to wait how it plays out as far as any movement, if you look in previous classes, guys have left the state, they've gone to prep school, they've gone to different spots, so maybe there would have been more impressive collections in state if some of that didn't happen. But as far as what's currently in the state, especially too, like, you look at how early, it was very evident those guys, before they even started playing as freshmen, they had a lot of hype around them. Joe Henderson is super respected up there, Chicago Sun-Times, and what he does on the scouting side. Told people, wrote about it. This is as good of a group in state, at least on the front end, as it's been in a while. They're still in state, which I appreciate, which I know that Joe and people that love to watch ball up there in Chicago are still happy about. But yeah, I mean, to me, Davion, Jackson, Howard, all definitely deserve to be top 100 type of recruits in that class, and there's upside to be even higher than that. Howard was one that probably of those three was on the lower end in terms of recognition and how much people have talked about him. But then I watched him in the spring, and I liked him the best of the group as a forward that could grow a little bit more. Maybe he gets up to 6'6", 6'7". It's good skill to him. He's physical and can do a lot of different things. So, and then Davion's just a really smooth scorer, someone that doesn't have like the elite burst, but he's everything that he does is very smooth and looks effortless. And he can really get going. He had a game in Memphis. I think he scored high 30s, maybe even went for 40 points. Jackson's been kind of the set-the-table guy. Like I mentioned earlier, now scoring it at a higher clip, and he does have that downhill burst. And I love that when he gets into the teeth of the defense and it collapses, he just knows where to spray out the ball, who's open, can think a step ahead of defenders. And got to add in Devin Cleveland, who plays for Kenwood and is on Maccaroon Fire. And he's in that same group, 2027, up in that area. ESPN has him as a top 25 talent, 5-star. He went to the Team USA camp that they had around the Final Four. So he's already highly regarded nationally. Could end up being consistently like a top 25, 5-star type of talent. So, yes, 27 is a big group for Illinois. Hopefully they'll be hoping it stays in state and guys don't bounce around to different prep schools. Obviously they can't get them at that point, but sometimes things open up a little bit more. But yeah, and then that's one of those things in Illinois is in talking to those guys. I talked to Jackson after the game today. Man, just to hear the response that guys like that have for Illinois basketball. How they're growing up, and the way they view Illinois basketball is totally different than what someone in the IO range. Obviously IO signed up and wanted to be that trailblazer, but for every IO there was 20 other top-level Chicago guys who didn't see it was Illinois. They didn't like the way that they were producing. Didn't like that they weren't in the tournament. Didn't like that they didn't have NBA talent. Now, when you you talk to recruits, they're saying, hey, I saw Terrence just got drafted in the first round. I see Iowa, and I see that they went to an Elite Eight. They've won a boatload of Big Ten games. They're getting big-time games, matchups. Like you look at their schedule this year. So they're all saying really good things about the program. And if Illinois can continue to further that in the coming years, it'll definitely help for 27 in-state, but even nationally, because they are definitely upping their presence and their profile.
All right. I know you got plenty of hoops to watch, so I won't keep you any longer. I do have to ask, though, have you scouted out? Did you make your way to Augusta National? Have you scouted out any potential entry points, any bushes to sneak into, or not gotten around to that quite yet?
No, I haven't popped in any bushes yet. I will have to maybe do that, at some point before I get out of here, because I did promise that. But no, I haven't made my way there. I've heard that it's very secure and gated. Maybe tomorrow. I know you guys will have one more show tomorrow, so maybe I'll surprise you. I'll call in from the old trees or bushes out there on one of the holes. In Sterling, there's another major going on right now with the Open. So
that's what I was thinking. Maybe there's a lot of golf people occupied, and the security's a little lighter.
They let their guard down, right? So we'll see. We'll test it out. I gotta at least give it a decent try for you guys, because I did promise that. Although I don't want to end up in a jail, or they might even have their own holding cell there on Augusta National. I may never come back.
Just don't.
I'll keep you posted.
Don't run into the officer that Scotty Scheffler ran into a couple months ago, and I think you'll be all right. Don't damage any pants while you're over there, and you should be fine. Derek Piper, appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will get all your thoughts on the weekend and all the hoops you watched on Monday. Can't wait for that. So enjoy the basketball and have yourself a great weekend, sir.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it. You guys do the same, and I'll if you see the phone line blinging tomorrow.
We got Hans coming in.
Risk, but it might be me.
We got Hans coming in. He's making his once every 2 months appearance tomorrow, so you can chat with him.
There you go.
All right.
Love it.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Pipes. Derek Piper, of course, the fantastic co-host of this radio show, live from Peach Jam. Some great stuff there. He is as thorough as they come in his coverage of Illini hoops. We're going to take a quick break, and Jimmy and I will be back to wrap up Hour 1. Lante almost here, and you'll hear from him at 4. Max Twin City Recycling for any thoughts. We will be back. This is The Drive.
I'm Justin Ike, co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground.
So, Justin, tell me what you see as typical when it comes to sewer repair. Give me a scenario.
Your sewer's backed up and somebody comes along and says, you need this repair for X amount of dollars. Here's my price. And you don't think to go looking for another company or a second opinion because you don't feel like you have time.
So is it possible that you might get charged a little more because it's kind of a desperate moment? Do some companies do that?
Oh, absolutely they will. They know you're in a pinch. Typically, if you call us, me or Will can be out there within an hour to look at that problem for you. Whether you call me first or you call me second, make sure you give me a call.
Anything else, Justin?
You can always trust Fred's.
Great to know. Thank you. That's Justin Ike, the co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground. If you want more information about this great 45-year family-owned company, just go to fredscu.com. That's fredscu.com.
Here's another home improvement insight from Kramer Siding and Window. New roofing and siding are a winning combination that can instantly change the look, feel, and function of your home. Our Kramer Siding and Window team takes pride in being an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred contractor, able to offer a best-in-the-business 50-year warranty. Pair it with preservation siding in your favorite style and color, and your home will be a showstopper. Start today and save 10% on roofing and 25% on siding. Call us, click on kramersiding.com, or visit the showroom in Champaign.
Matt Rogowitz is our law enforcement official of the month. He is currently the University of Illinois Police Department Officer of the Year. Why did you want to go into this work?
The reason why I wanted to go into policing was probably due to my family. Father's in the military. My uncle is a police officer in Louisiana. So it's always been a big part of my life, being a first responder within my family members.
Okay, and you're physically fit, and that's a big part of your regime. Do you try to stay in great shape? Does that really help from the standpoint, not only just physically that you're kind of imposing looking, but mentally.
It helps physically and mentally. It plays a big role at work, and I like to share my experiences with my coworkers as well. So I think that helps mentally as a team. So working out, helping them work out as well.
And so when you are on a call, does the adrenaline start going, or depends on the situation? How's that work?
It does depend on the situation. Your adrenaline does get going. It just depends what call you're going to, but always trying to remain calm is your key component there, and then just responding and then providing that support to everybody that you're able to.
You're listening to WSJ.
Finishing up hour one here on The Drive, Lante en route, and we'll be here at 4:05, and we're going to talk some Illini hoops, predictions, and kind of roster overview, give some thoughts on what we think some of these Illini newcomers can accomplish this offseason, or this season rather, this upcoming season. This damn fly, Jimmy. It's killing us.
Fly was terrorizing Kyle because I just see Kyle just swiping his hands. I was like, what is he doing? And then I see the fly, and then during the interview, it was just on me like the whole time. So
I'm glad I must have scared it off enough that it shifted its focus to you. But yeah, after I asked Pipes the first question or so, a fly is all over the board here. I thought it was going to hit one of the buttons and take us off the air at one point. But yeah, luckily I must have.
Maybe it knows ball. Maybe it's trying to be it sees the chairs open, sees an open mic. I don't know. Maybe I don't think people would appreciate the buzzing. I don't know how many people speak fly out on that are listening to the radio.
Real quick before we wrap up this hour, I mean, it's very rare on the show that two Cubs fans get the mic, so I feel like, before Lon comes in here, we got to just give some quick Cubs thoughts. I know we've talked about them plenty this week. Heading into the second half tomorrow, starting kind of a big series with the Diamondbacks, who are in that NL wildcard mix, and the Cubs need a tiebreaker against somebody.
This is the only team in the mix that they have a tiebreak on, winning 2 out of 3 back in April, and that was Cubs stole a game that they very easily could have lost, and lost a game that they probably should have won. Kind of the story of the Cubs in that early stretch where it seemed like they were playing an instant classics as the fly has returned to terrorizing my face here. It'll be big here because we saw the Diamondbacks were really the thorn in the Cubs' side last September, that ultimately Diamondbacks took 6 out of the 7 matchups all in September against the Cubs and knocked the Cubs out of the playoffs and punched their own ticket and ended up going to the World Series. So at least for retribution purposes, the Cubbies got to at least take 2 out of 3 here, or I mean, not get swept. So you can get a tie. It's a 3-game set, I assume. So I would say they're gonna have to win this one.
Yeah, this is a big series just to continue that momentum that they had coming into the All-Star break, which I know Saturday in St. Louis was kind of a nightmarish day. Other than that, Cubs are playing some good baseball, and obviously had a big offensive day. Maybe are we going to get some Pete Crow Armstrong bombs in the second half? Is Tomas Nido got some Oppo pop now, or was that just Miles Michaelis?
Miles Michaelis, I kind of felt bad for him that game because you give up 3 different home runs on pitches outside of the zone, well outside of the zone. Morel obviously pulling his hands in on that, and Pete Crow Armstrong getting out the 9-iron on some golf shots. And then the one Nido hit was on the black, and he just barreled it up, shot it out to right field. So I think Michaelis got a little unlucky a little bit as well. I don't think you'd expect to give up all 4 home runs on those 4 pitches most days.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Let me end with this. What would the Cubs need to do over the next 2 weeks for you to feel like, okay, let's actually buy. This is a team in the NL wildcard picture. I feel like let's go try to get a closer. Let's go maybe try to get a bat. Is there a point where it reaches that, or is this kind of this team is what it is?
To make a significant move, they would maybe lose at the most 3 games up until the deadline. I mean, it would take a lot for me to have enough faith to really push the chips in. I think you could maybe make a small move here or there, add some middle of the bullpen type pieces to shore that up. Maybe get a bat, but I don't see the Cubs being in the market for like a Mason Miller or a Tanner Scott or a Luis Robert type of guy. I just don't think that they've earned the right to go after a guy like that based on how they played.
I'm with you. They'd need to basically play the way they did this past week for 2 more weeks, where you go 6-1, 5-2 both weeks, and you're firmly over 500 again. I think this is just an average team, a team that's going to finish around 500. They don't have a ton of sellable guys, and it's not a team that I'm willing to give up a bunch of prospect capital and go all in for. It's been 2 years now, and I think this offseason is going to be big, but this is just kind of is what it is. And I do hope that obviously they get themselves back into a competitive enough picture to where September is fun again like it was last year. And, of course, the end wasn't fun when they lost. They got swept by the Braves, and Ronald Acuna is celebrating his milestone as the Braves walk the Cubs off and end their season. But just to be in the playoff race, I do hope. I'm at least a little more optimistic after last week that can happen. But Lante will be in studio for hour 2. We'll talk some Illini hoops and get to any of your thoughts on the Max Twin City Recycling text line. So stick with us. This is The Drive.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Freedoms, opportunity, and dignity.
Accusing Republicans of having an extreme and divisive agenda, while President Biden is in Delaware, isolating with COVID, but still facing pressure from fellow Democrats to drop out of the race or at least consider it. Comedian Bob Newhart has died. He was 94, the master of deadpan and telephone monologues.
I was going to take the elevator up to his head, sir, but see, my jurisdiction only extends to his navel. You don't care what I do, just get the ape off the building.
An accountant turned stand-up comic, winning 3 Grammys for comedy albums, Newhart became a popular TV star in the 1970s and 80s and did some movies, too. He was Will Ferrell's dad in Elf. His publicist says Newhart died today in L.A. after a series of short illnesses. His wife of nearly 60 years died last year. They had 4 children. Stocks tumble, the Dow dropping 533 points today, the NASDAQ down 125. America's listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that mixed up your files has your Social Security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info and last 3 addresses. Your info is in endless places that could accidentally expose your info to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Just getting reports that President Biden's son Hunter is trying to throw out his criminal conviction on gun charges and dismiss a separate tax case by arguing the special counsel prosecuting him was not legally appointed. This follows a federal judge's ruling tossing out the classified documents case against former President Trump over that special counsel's appointment. Arizona's most populous county investigating hundreds of suspected heat-related deaths.
Maricopa County, where Phoenix is, has seen more than 300 people die in the midst of the summer's heat wave. 100 of those deaths are said to have happened in a single week when temperatures soared as high as 118 degrees. Officially, at least 23 people have been confirmed to have died from the hot weather, and a higher number of people are being affected in the city of Mesa, east of Phoenix.
Fox's Grinnell Scott. A public viewing in Pennsylvania today for Corey Compatore, the man killed at the Trump rally last weekend.
His family releasing a statement to thank the community for its support and prayers and writing, quote, "He loved and cared for us. his family.
Fox's CB Cotton, tomorrow's funeral for Compatour will be private. The largest housing provider for unaccompanied migrant children in the U.S., Austin-based Southwest Key, is being accused of sexually abusing and harassing children in its care. A Justice Department lawsuit describing the abuse as severe and pervasive, accusing company employees of raping, touching, or soliciting sex and nude images of children since at least 2015. At least 2 employees have been charged since 2020. Just getting word, former Fox Business personality Lou Dobbs has died. He was 78. Former President Trump posting a tribute on Truth Social, calling Dobbs a friend, an incredible journalist, and unique in so many ways. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Well, again, everyone, let's check weather. Free Central Illinois, Champaign event and vicinity. A much and well-deserved spell of quiet weather. Pleasant temperatures, much lower humidity values on tap as we move on through the rest of the work week and into the weekend as well. By early next week, same frontal boundary that pushed through the area returns back to the north. A couple of disturbances tracking out of the Ohio Valley, hence increasing shower prospects begin by late Monday into Tuesday of next week. In the meantime, sunny, pleasant weather for the day-to-day, lower afternoon humidity with a light north wind. The high around 77. Clear, comfortably cool for tonight by July standards. Lows of 52 to 55. Light northeast winds, sunny, pleasant for the day tomorrow on 78. Weekend forecast, sunny to partly cloudy skies. Highs of 79 on Saturday. Sunday highs up around 80. Lower 80s then for Monday through Thursday next week. A small chance for shower late Monday. A couple of scattered showers as mentioned for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. Overnight readings in the 60s. For CVJ Broadcasting, I'm Peter Oltris, Greg Solgay.
Good morning in the 4 hour. It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. Lante, no Derek Piper, but you just heard from Pipes, who, by the way, had the best thought I've heard out of Pipes in a while, Jimmy, when he shut you down on the Purdue talk. That was incredibly great, because I knew right where Jimmy asked a great question about, have you seen any other guys, that are going to other Big Ten schools?
He was I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it pretty well. I was like, maybe Big Ten guys, maybe a school in Indiana.
No, it's a great question, and I'll tell you why, Jimmy. In fact, you've taught me something today. I've been giving Jimmy some grief for about the last 3 minutes on some stuff I heard, things that I'm trying to get him better at. I gave it to Kyle. He's been through it all. But the thing you taught me today was a good question, because what we do is we ultra focus on Illinois when it comes to the Peach Jam and stuff like that, because it's not the easiest thing to ask questions to, because you run out of them. There's only so much Derek Piper can talk about unless you've got 5 guys that Illinois is interested in and 5 guys that are coming to campus. And, if that's the case, well, right now we don't even know really, except for who's the Boozer kid, right? All of a sudden we're, come on.
Caden Boozer.
That's not going to happen, right?
Nah. Well, it's nice to be.
Doesn't he have a twin?
Yeah, Cam Boozer is one of the best high school prospects out there.
So it's the other Boozer.
It's the other one. He's still pretty darn good. He's a 5-star. Those two, though, I think, as Pipes alluded to, probably are going to team up somewhere, and wherever that is, it's going to be a pretty scary duo.
Well, that's what Lucas asked me today over in Decatur. He's like, doesn't he have a twin brother, and wouldn't they team up? No, that'd be all right. I'd be able to throw that at the Boilers. I'd be all right with that. But no, Jimmy, I thought it was a great question, because really a lot of times when we have Pipes on the road, especially if it's this kind of a circumstance where it's not an Illini game, we just ask Illinois-specific questions. And I think it's a good – what you brought up to me was, what about asking about the rest of the guys we're going to be watching on a nightly basis, unless it's on Peacock or one of these
Netflix,
Yeah,
whatever.
right. Well, I get Netflix, so I'm all fired
Amazon
up about
Prime, yeah.
that one NFL game on Netflix that I get to watch. I'm all fired up about that. Well, listen, it is Kyle Tosk and Jimmy Sebeski joining us this hour. Hey, you guys did a great job last hour, by the way. So congrats.
Thank you
on that. We took the training wheels off, Kyle. How'd it feel?
It was a little intimidating at first. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of responsibility, but.
And then in the midst of it all, I'm like, can you cue up Shauna Green for the 4 o'clock?
Lon's got me pulling like 8 audio clips for the 4 hour in the middle of running the show.
As I'm like, like at a stoplight in Monticello, I'm like, hey, can you do this and do this? I know you're running the show. You guys are doing something that I didn't do at your age, and it's incredible. I was in radio at SIU at your age, but we didn't have this platform necessarily. So it's great that you guys are getting this kind of experience, and you did a wonderful job in hour one. And, of course, it was great of Pipes to join us and shut down Jimmy with the Purdue talk, which was wonderful. We did have a 217 said that bad fly joke is totally something I would expect from a Purdue grad. LOL, just kidding. Now, I will say this. I didn't hear the fly joke, I guess.
I don't even know what I was.
What you were. Well, here's the deal. The fly.
Oh, the buzz. Yeah, it was not very good, I will say. I'm also not a grad yet, so.
Oh, that's true.
Look at that. One more year.
Hey, you guys are like a big. What is Purdue? Engineering?
Yes.
And that is Drew Brees. Was he an engineering guy?
Oh, I'm not sure what
No. You know who I'm thinking of? Ryan Newman.
Yeah.
The NASCAR guy.
Yep. Number 12, Penske car.
I think he was like, what are they? Now, you can tell that I didn't like excel in high school or college because I don't even know how to say it, but is it cum de laude or cum de laude or whatever it is?
Something like that.
I think
summa cum laude.
That's it. So I think Ryan Newman was like that.
Yeah.
He was brilliant, I think. And then he was one hell of a NASCAR driver. Of course, he had the huge, I think Daytona had the huge wreck.
Yeah, that was rough.
Oh, it was scary.
I think he finished on his roof, right?
Right. But he came back the next year or the next time they hit Daytona and raced. So everybody was kind of pulling for Ryan. But, yeah, a guy that I think that kind of led to him saying, I think I've had enough of this. I want to get out and utilize my brain. It made me think of who was the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts that played like 4 years, and he was so
Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck. He
Top
was
prospect. Yeah, that shoulder, though, man.
Well, the shoulder, no doubt, pushed him out, but that dude was brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
At Stanford, he was like the smartest. Wasn't it Stanford?
Yeah, he was Stanford guy under Jim Harbaugh when he was there. And I heard a story that I think it was Pagano, the coach, who was talking about he didn't do the rookie camp because he finished his degree up.
That's unreal.
And he came in, and he knew the playbook better than the coaches knew the playbook without practicing. So the guy's a genius.
Yes, and I always heard that he was just incredibly smart and that Andrew Luck basically stepped away from football to be able to be kind of an entrepreneur and do other things because he will actually make more money than he was in the NFL, which is a lot of money, doing like the business stuff because the guy is so smart. It's similar to the kid on Boston right now, the Celtics, who's the off guard.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
And went to Cal, another great school.
That's right.
And Andrew's dad, Oliver Luck, ran the new rendition of the XFL before that guy, which we mentioned that. Yeah, and he played in the NFL, I believe. So
good call.
Yeah,
I did not realize.
It's a smart family.
Yep.
look at that. Businessman, 2 NFL quarterbacks, number 1 overall pick. Yeah.
How about the Sebeskis? Smart family.
Smart family, not super athletic though.
Okay, well listen.
So I got something.
Tosk family, smart.
I'd say so.
Okay.
My mom especially.
Yeah.
Got to dog my dad a little bit. He's not quite
wow.
Not quite
Poor
at
dad. I mean, dads just get the you know what? We take it. Let's be honest, and I've said this.
No, they are
5 million times on the show in 15 years or 14 that moms are like they just rule.
Yeah.
Dads, we just are kind of like we're just kind of on the outside looking in at occasion, probably on the more important things, and then when it comes to like a baseball game, let's say, then we step in like, hey, I got this. You know, you're like, really?
It's all under control.
Yeah, like, oh, now you're gonna be Mr. Dad. I'm like, well, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. I see the fly just cruising right around
The
your
fly
head
has
again.
chosen a new target.
Going back
Thankfully.
to me. Yeah.
Well, no, he's back to Jimmy.
Well, he started with you. He
Yes.
checked you out a little bit. Again, maybe you're just
Well, I was sweating
scaring
at
him
Milliken.
away.
Right. I was doing the sweating at Milliken. So, hey, Andrew pitched well. Had kind of his B game. Look, he was arguing with me on this, but he didn't have the velocity he had last Thursday. I think he just left it all in Rantoul. But to me, he like used his off speed, pitched well, and I'm like, I'm more proud of you almost for today because you knew you didn't have like top of the line throw it by you, but he pitched well. They got a win, so I appreciate you guys allowing me to run over to Decatur and back and do that. That is easy drive. I guess they're on the interstate rolling through the beautiful town of Monticello and others. So good to be back. We are going to are we going to hear from Shauna at 4:30?
Yes.
Okay. Shauna Green spoke today. I could save it until tomorrow, but I'd like to hear from the Illinois women's basketball coach because, you know, it's interesting. And Jimmy, I'm gonna pause you for a minute, unless you really paid attention to Illinois women's basketball last year while you were at Purdue. I'm not sure what your focus was.
A lot of men's basketball, some of our own women's basketball, but I did not get a chance to see the Illini play last
Is
year.
Purdue women's basketball up or down right now?
It was kind of down now. It was up when I was
They were
a
up for
freshman
a
or
long
sophomore,
time.
yeah, and beat Ohio State when they were ranked number 2 my sophomore year, and then kind of had an off year. Made it to the WNIT, I believe.
Okay,
but you know, it was a rough one.
I see the fly.
Yeah, it's just terrorizing me. Maybe I should be paused.
Yeah, right. You pause and do something with that thing.
Yeah.
Because that guy is all over you. Kyle, I'll ask you, 2 years ago as a freshman, we thought you were the wonder boy because you came in, Illinois football went 8-4. Illinois men's basketball had a good year with Matthew Meyer and Terrence Shannon. They lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament, but still had
early on, I think is when we were saying it because they looked.
Well, that's right. They
beating
beat UCLA,
beating Texas.
It's a good call. So early on, we were like, oh, Wonder Boy Tosk is here, and everything's going right. And then the Illini women's program did something it hasn't done forever, right? They made the NCAA tournament. So I was like, what is going on with Kyle? He's the prodigy, I guess. Like, he's Keanu Reeves, who has come in and we got to save him from all the whatever that was in the Matrix. But then last year happened where that team struggled. What did they make the CBI?
The WNIT, I think, or WBIT is what they
CBI
won.
still around anymore?
It is, yeah,
okay.
it is.
All right. Is that on the men's side only?
It is, yes. I think it's filled with smaller programs. It's the highest seed is like North Dakota in that tournament.
Got it. And Minnesota.
Well,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to dog Minnesota. That was not fair of me. That was awful. So I ask you this. We saw what happened in last year with Shauna Green's squad, and it was just like after that first year, you're like, oh my gosh. What's your confidence in that program? In other words, we've had kind of two outlier. I don't want to say, well, last year was actually more not outlier. It was kind of what we expected, although it was still better than what we had seen.
Right.
So from what I'm asking you essentially from 2 years ago, that was a great year comparatively to the history or the recent history of Illinois women's basketball, and then last year, which was still a little bit better, but not like it was 2 years ago. Where are you at with confidence level in Shauna Green in this Illinois women's basketball program?
I am a lot more confident in just kind of the direction and the overall talent level that's in this program right now. It was weird last year because you brought back almost everybody from that team, and it just felt like they never were really able to click early on in Big Ten play, and then they kind of got hot late in the season. And then, winning the WBIT, I know it wasn't obviously the NCAA tournament and where you ultimately want to be, but it was more what we expected from that group at the end of last year. And I think it's for a program like Illinois that had been just in such a low point. We called it the fact that last year was a disappointing year for Illinois women's basketball, I think speaks to where Shauna Green had already gotten them. And the fact that last year probably would have been the best year since 2012.
Yeah.
Matt Bolon's first season. So I'm confident. I like the fact that you have another year of Makira's back, right? And you've got a lot of that. I think momentum is headed in a positive direction. And Shauna Green's putting in some work on the recruiting trail
really
too. Like
is.
she's
Doesn't she have a
bringing in
5-star
talent.
coming
She's got
in?
a 5-star coming in. I'm blanking on her name right now, but she's also hit the portal pretty hard too. Sure, she's learning from the guy that shares a facility with her on that. But I think it's still, as much as last year was disappointing, it's still a really positive sign that can be considered a disappointing season, and that is still just raising the level of success that this program has had. And I think this could be a pretty decent year.
And I'll tell you the thing that I give a lot of credit to, and I think you would, until this last year with Brad Underwood, you'd have to give a lot of credit to Coach Bielema, because it didn't seem like a lot of guys had left for the portal. Even 2 years ago, a lot of the guys stayed. Did we lose anybody 2 years ago to the portal? I mean, I'm sure we lost one or two. We lost more this year, but I think that was more of Coach Bielema saying, hey, you know what? You probably should do that. Yeah. And I know that's easy to say. That's one of those where, okay, oh, yeah, sure, make yourself sound better.
There just wasn't a lot of starters or impact guys leaving, which is not – I mean, for a school like Illinois, it's not to be expected. You'd expect a lot of guys to jump up.
Yep. And that's what's key for, Brad Underwood has done wonders with the portal. And I know this last year when they lost Chester Frazier, lost a couple of those players like Hansberry, et cetera. But Shauna Green is able to take advantage, too, of her players being able to come back and play big minutes for another year. And I think that's going to be huge for Illinois this season. I know Lindy mentioned Coach Green's son played ball for me this year. I've gotten to know the family well. She's the real deal. If anyone's going to make the program respectable, I have to believe it will be her. I agree with you. Now, of course, Teresa Grant certainly made that program respectable as well. So that is certainly something that it's nice to – and Matt Bullant was kind of on that direction until they had the off-the-court issues, and that really kind of sidetracked the program there. Jolette Law never really got footing here. So in this situation, I think Shauna Green has done a wonderful job, and I'm excited to see what this Illinois women's basketball team – because they – the other thing too, Kyle, is they stirred up a lot of excitement for the program, where you had a lot of people going to watch games. And when I say a lot, they're not selling out like the men. I get that. But compared to what they were getting at games to what they then were drawing, I mean, that's a big jump for the Illini women's basketball team in terms of excitement. I would assume Caitlin Clark and what she was able to do.
Now, that's an arena that was getting sold out every night.
Big time. But I think there is what's the word, like the residual effect of a Caitlin Clark, to where I think a lot of programs are going to benefit from that, because, all these younger girls, let's say in Central Illinois, have watched someone like Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese, who's having a big year with double-doubles and such in the WNBA, and they're saying, hey, you know what, it's kind of cool to be playing basketball now. I think you'll start to see a resurgence in that. So I think that's one thing that I'm confident that this Illinois women's program next season will have a pretty good year and get back in that NCAA talk, which I hope is the case. Jimmy, I don't know if the fly has left you, but I got to bring the 217 back in. He is dogging you today. And he said, or she said, Andrew Luck is one of those people that's so smart they're a little weird. The 2 Purdue grads I work with are the same way.
Well, I mean, smart. I'll take the compliment side of that thing.
That's the way to look at that.
I got to really shout out those engineers, because they really up our status academically, because the rest of us are just are just dunces.
I don't know what we had at SIU that upped us. I'm not sure we had anything. Radio TV program? Probably not.
They single-handedly Caitlin Clark that program.
C average.
Right.
That C average I pulled. Hey, you know what?
Kids all across Illinois. I want to go to SIU now.
I got my diploma sitting down in the office.
Because SIU, the radio.
We did have a good aviation program at SIU. When I went to Southern, it was 4th in the country in radio television.
There you go.
So a lot of good grads out there. Gary Miller, who did Baseball Tonight for ESPN forever until he decided to get really drunk in Cleveland during a playoff series and urinate out a window onto a cop.
That's the SIU way.
That's a dog right there for you. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those like, maybe that's not the best thing that needed to happen. So, but yeah, Southern's a good school. Finally, I think, had an uptick in attendance enrollment, for the first time in a lot of years. So I'm excited there. It is kind of weird that when I was in college, the enrollment was like 26,000. And now it's like 13. So
really?
It's kind of strange to see that kind of happen to my university, but they're making their push. They're doing a good job of getting around the state. And if you're hearing me right now, SIU is a good college, I promise, and it's beautiful down there. Southern Illinois, I don't care. You can mention West Lafayette, and listen, I think Indiana's a beautiful state. You can mention Illinois, the University of Illinois, Illinois State. You can throw out all this stuff. Nothing is more beautiful than down in Southern Illinois in that area for our colleges. I mean, in our, like, where we're sitting right here, the three of us. And I like West Lafayette.
Sure.
There's a little bit of hills over there in there. A little
yeah,
bit.
And I just happen to live at the bottom of one.
Oh,
so,
you do?
So going to class was not fun. But not anymore. I moved up in the world, literally.
Exactly. Yeah, 217 kind of summed it up. I love my time down there 100%. And then Derek texted as well, just a special place for some reason. Derek's an SIU grad, agree 100% with Lon. I want to see that university bounce back like I do all of them. My brother went to Illinois State. He always called it the Kmart of the Midwest and then the Harvard of the Midwest. But obviously, Illinois State is a great college. And certainly a place that I visited quite a bit because my brother was 2 years older. I have a lot of respect for Illinois State grads as well. So really the only ones that we don't like are what?
Indiana.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, especially you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well, not even especially you. I just don't.
Well, maybe especially.
It's just
maybe.
easy not to like Indiana.
Yeah,
You talk about a beautiful drive. If you're from around here and haven't been to Bloomington, Indiana, in the fall, do yourself a favor and make a 3-hour drive over. Just get a hotel, unless you go to a game or whatever, but otherwise just head over, see the trees. Indiana, the state of Indiana is beautiful. And just eat dinner there, spend the night, and cruise back to the cornfields and bean fields of Illinois.
Apparently the bar
Shout
scene
out
there.
to the farmers.
Yeah.
By the way, they do a great job. But
apparently the bar scene there is pretty electric from what I've heard. But I've not been there.
I've never taken advantage of it either. So I was always working.
Tell you, but I've heard Halloween there is fun.
Another dig of the Purdue guy. I'm an SIU grad. I had to train those two weirdos. Go Dogs! Let's go.
Yeah, we took Lance and Painter, though. So
I mean, you did.
So I think we won in the end.
We trained him. For
right.
it. Got those training wheels off. Dave said SIU was the ultimate party school in the 80s and 90s. Everybody went to Halloween every year. Great school. Amen, Dave.
Look who you're telling about that.
I didn't know Dave was a Saluk. I tell you what, though, that Halloween, my freshman year, which would have been, I graduated in May of 88 from Villa Grove High School and went down. That freshman year was the last official Halloween, and a student got killed. I mean, that was, I'm not even, I mean, that's not something. Yeah, it was out of hand. And you think of official now, because Illinois kind of like stole now Halloween. They kind of, the official now is kind of what?
Unofficial.
Or I'm sorry, unofficial. I'm calling it official. Look
yeah,
at me.
the opposite of
I
what
just
it is.
showed my age right there with the
Official would be like completely the opposite. There's not a single
Nobody's
drink.
out.
It's just people suits and ties
Mormon.
walking through the streets.
It would just be Mormonism.
Randy asked if can you still not use charcoal grills at Purdue? We tailgated in the at the golf course.
We may or may not have one at the apartment, but I'm not at liberty to say.
Right. Oh, Dave did not go, but he did attend Halloween. There you go.
Well, there you go.
Is it Halloween or Halloween?
I say
it's
actually,
Halloween.
I don't know.
Say Halloween.
I say Halloween, I guess.
But it's Hall. Like, how do you say Hall?
I guess you're right. That's fair.
There's so many words like that, though.
I know. Do you say umbrella or umbrella?
Umbrella.
Umbrella. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't say.
Well, I've heard people say like umbrella, like 3 syllables, which I think you're doing too much.
Particularly.
Or athlete.
That's yeah. That particularly is the one word I never use on the radio. It's too hard to say.
Yeah, it just.
I don't know how this got to an SIU visit, but it's awesome, man. I love this. 217 said, when I was at SIU, the town had so many liquor stores and bars that the Walmart wasn't allowed to sell alcohol. I just love the dogs. Hey, you guys will never know. You're not in the group.
I guess not.
You're just not in the group. So just take it from there. I'm waiting for SIU to maybe show some interest in Andrew, because I'll get really excited if they would.
Hey, Legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Let's go. Yeah, I remember.
Get in before it gets too
crowded.
Too hot,
yeah.
I remember Lucas did a visit to SIU, and this isn't throwing any smoke at SIU, but he wanted nothing to do with SIU. He was either heading to Florida or heading to Arizona State. He wanted warm, so it wasn't necessarily about the school. He just wanted to get out of here, although it was always like 7 degrees warmer in Carbondale than it was in Villa Grove and Camargo. That when I drove down, I'm like, oh, it's so much nicer down here. All right, I got a cough, which means we've talked enough for this segment. We have Shauna Green queued up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, when we come back, you'll hear from Illinois women's basketball coach Shauna Green. She met with the media today. Let's see what she has to say about her program as they look to the future and kind of getting themselves. Is it themselves or theirselves?
Themselves, I would say.
Theirselves, is that even a word?
I don't think so.
I don't think it is either. I apologize. And if it is, would it be THERE or THEIR? It'd be EIR, right?
Well, I'm just the dumb Purdue guy apparently. So how would I know?
There was the one word that I could never do.
And there.
Yeah, because if you're speaking about a person or place, it is THEIR, right? No, a place is ERE,
and then like somebody's. Like property.
Yes.
EIR.
Yes. Okay.
And then if you're saying they are. Apostrophe. Yeah.
They are is the one I always.
I'm a little sharp.
That was good. Jimmy finished the segment on a high note for the Boilers. Let's go that way. All right, let's take a break here from Shauna next. It is The Drive.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Ow! A spring just hit me.
Mom, the couch is broken again.
It's about time we get rid of that clunky couch and look into buying a new one.
What about Two Men in a Junk Truck? Their professional moving team does a great job assisting with downsizing, home renovations, and clearing out old items you need hauled away.
Wow, it sounds like it'll make much more space in this house once the couch is hauled away.
I just pulled it up on my phone. You can schedule an appointment online at twomeninajunktruck.com.
Love calzones? Jets Pizza in Champaign is offering their calzone-style boats for just $8.99. Available online only at jetspizza.com with code C1. All of their boats typically feed 2 people. Just apply coupon code C1 at checkout to take advantage of the deal. Your deli boat of choice or one-topping jet boat for $8.99. Pickup or delivery. Jets. Better because it has to be.
Looking for the best deal on your next vehicle? Visit Sarah Champagne, where your dream car awaits. From sleek sedans to rugged SUVs, they've got it all. Their unbeatable prices and exceptional customer service make car buying a breeze. Plus, with their hassle-free financing options, driving off in your new ride has never been easier. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, Subaru, Buick, GMC. Visit them today. Sarah, SERRA, Champagne.com.
Racing, racing, racing. Friday Night Lights at Farmer City Raceway is a blast. Only $15 admission and kids 12 and under are free. This Friday, July 19th, it'll be the 14th annual Junior Kimmler Memorial $5,000 Mars Late Models, $2,000 Bill Marietta Memorial Mars Mods, and a full show. Head to 850 Grove Street in Farmer City with hot laps at 6:30. You'll buy the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Illini family, this is Director of Athletics Josh Whitman. As we celebrate 100 years in Memorial Stadium, we are offering special prices on single-game football tickets for a limited time. Until July 29th, tickets will be the lowest you'll see all season, and that is our Family First promise. Don't miss out on Homecoming, Dad's Day, and our rededication of Memorial Stadium versus Michigan. Lock in the lowest price for your tickets before July 29th at fightingillini.com. ILL.
Matt Rogowitz is our law enforcement official of the month. He is currently the University of Illinois Police Department Officer of the Year. Why did you want to go into this work?
The reason why I wanted to go into policing was probably due to my family. Father's in the military. My uncle is a police officer in Louisiana. So it's always been a big part of my life, being a first responder within my family members.
Okay, and you're physically fit, and that's a big part of your regime. Do you try to stay in great shape? Does that really help from the standpoint, not only just physically, that you're kind of imposing looking, but mentally?
It helps physically and mentally.
Yeah.
It plays a big role at work, and I like to share my experiences with my coworkers as well. So I think that helps mentally as a team. So working out, helping them work out as well.
And so when you are on a call, does the adrenaline start going, or depends on the situation? How's that work?
It does depend on the situation. Your adrenaline does get going. It just depends what call you're going to, but always trying to remain calm is your key component there, and then just responding and then providing that support to everybody that you're able to.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, it is The Drive, and a shout out to Brett Behrens here in about an hour and, I can't do math, 24 minutes?
Yep.
Of course, that'll be the start of the show, so we're talking an hour, 35 minutes. Brett Behrens will be making his final appearance on Channel 3, WCIA. Good friend of the program, and obviously a really good sportscaster in Central Illinois. We are all, and I mean all of us, because I guarantee you, all of you that had a son or a daughter probably had Brett Behrens saying he or her name in a highlight. So congrats to Brett. He is obviously one of the cool dudes, man. And I'm going to miss him watching him on Channel 3, and I hope for the best for him here in the near future. So congrats to Brett. He will be doing his last show. Let's hope he's sober. No, I'm kidding. Brett is actually the most sober dude you'll ever meet. So, no, he'll have I can remember my last show, and it's emotional, it's exciting, and what I mean by that is on TV when I was at WAND and also at Channel 3 down south, WSIL. You always kind of remember that last show because you're saying goodbye to a wonderful group, an audience of viewers that watched you and supported you for many years, and it's very cool. And I can promise you that Brett is heartfelt about leaving Channel 3 and leaving this area, even if he doesn't leave the area, because he's a Muhammad grad, and I know that was always his goal and his dream to work for Channel 3. So congrats to Brett Behrens. Now that's enough. The guy wears makeup. I'm not going to – come on. We're giving him way too much credit right now. So, yeah, you hear me, Brett. All right, Shauna Green, Illinois women's basketball coach, had a chance to visit with the media today. Let's hear a little bit from her on this Illini women's program moving forward.
Got an itinerary mapped out for you?
Yes, we do. So it's going to be a lot of good things, a lot of fun things. Had 2 games in there, but mostly just team bonding and experiencing the culture. So there'll be a ton of different things, from a bike tour to a pizza making class to a couple of boat trips and island hopping, so it's going to be a good time.
What are you taking away from the couple of practices you've had now? Like, what's important for you guys at this time?
You know, having those 10 extra practices, we've used like 1 a week so far, and it's just been really nice to be able to get a lot in. We've also played more and up and down and scrimmage more than this summer than I ever have as a head coach. Just with the veteran team and trying to, I know we have to play, so I want to make sure we're in somewhat, we're never going to be in game shape like we'll be in the season, but at least getting up and down, and that's been really, really beneficial to us and for me too, to just see different lineups, see how competitive we are. I'll say one thing, the depth that we have and on the team this year is we haven't had it. So I put anyone together and mix up the lineups, and it's almost always a really tight game. Like they're going at each other, they're making each other better. And it's been really fun to watch and to coach them this summer.
I know we talked about the depth last time we talked to you, and you said you've got to kind of adjust to having that. So, what's that process for you and your coaches look like? I know it's not the season yet, but how have you kind of mapped that out?
And I think that's where having these practices and having a little bit more time on the floor where we can scrimmage and play, I'm able to put different people together and different lineups together, and really just get to see, who can do what and put people in different positions. Like someone like a Barry who's a freshman, and I have her playing some wing and then I have her playing some 4. So, and she's picked that up really quickly. So, some of those kids that flex to, KB, Bryn, I have Bryn playing some 5 this year. She's gonna have to play some 5 and not just 4. So it's been nice to have those opportunities to see different lineups, different combinations, and then people being able to flex to different positions.
Having Jasmine in here, what's that been kind of like? And have you learned some things about her that you didn't, kind of know about before she kind of came here?
Yeah, Jasmine, the last about week and a half, 2 weeks, she's really, I told her, it's like the Jazz I've watched for how many years. So when she first came in, it's a lot for anyone new. So learning defense, learning the system, learning expectations. So I thought the last 2 weeks have been her best, and she's kind of getting that pop back of being really aggressive as a scorer. Her 3-point shot actually is much better now than it was as a high school player. So she really worked on that last year at Mississippi State, and her it looks really, really good. But I love her defense, and I'm really challenging her defensively, and she just continues to take it all in. She's so coachable. She's gonna be really, really important to us.
Is that maybe the biggest thing of an adjustment defensively? What you kind of emphasize maybe for a player when they're kind of coming in their first year?
I think the defense is always the biggest learning curve, whether it's a transfer, whether it's a freshman, sometimes even a transfer like a 5th year last year, where you've been in the system 4 years. Luckily, our transfers have only been in the system 1 year, so they don't really have something totally ingrained in them, but it's all different. And what we teach and our philosophy and our principles are different than where they're used to, or even high school to now. And then I also think just the intensity of expectation of every play, defending at a high level, that's the biggest thing from freshman to college. You can get away with a lot of things in high school. You can't do that now. Sure. And just challenging them to bring it defensively.
You see some of your players out and about, it's clear there's more height on this roster. How does that impact a scheme or what you want to do? Does that change things or enable you to do things more than you have been in the past, if that makes sense?
Yeah, our size, we have 6'6" and 6'7", so that's like a whole nother level. But with that, we got to get them to where they can play as fast as what we normally want to play, where when we have someone like a KB playing the 5, obviously she can move and she can play for 40 minutes. So we'll get those, our true 5s, we'll get them in condition where they can hopefully play longer, but right now it'll probably be shorter spurts. But I want them to be able to play really, really hard and be able to play at the pace we want to offensively. And again, it comes back to defense. Being able to sustain intensity level defensively. And I'm trying to really, with both of Haven and Letty, just trying them, the physicality of it all, trying to get them to be a little bit more physical, to utilize their size more. They continue to make strides every day. It's still only July, so I love how far they've come in a short time, but I think that's where you have true bigs like 6'6", 6'7". It's the pace. Can we still play at that same pace that we want to play at?
I know it's only July, but do you envision a little bit of post by committee there to be able to kind of bring in fresh legs constantly in the post?
Yeah, I think that, even like last year at this time, like we didn't know what it would look like, right, with Hobby and KB, and it took, Hobby again some time to understand our system, and then it worked perfectly towards the end. So I think early on, you'll see KB, playing obviously some 4, some 5. You'll see Bryn playing some 4, some 5. And then we can bring in one of those true 5 players, you know, how many minutes can they play? That's going to determine a lot of those rotations. But I see all of them, hopefully, you know, we need them all to make an impact. We need them all to be ready to play.
Being able to go into the portal and add, you know, players from other high major programs, what does that say about just how far the program has come in your time here?
You know, I think we want to continue to make Illinois basketball one of the premier programs in the country, right? And I think we've done that in 2 years where now we're in the mix, or we've landed some of the, you know, the top recruits. You know, obviously you look at our transfers and you look at our freshmen with Barry Wallace coming in. She could have went anywhere. You know, Letty was highly recruited, Jasmine highly recruited. You know, those are players that we got them to come here because of relationships, because of, I think, being able to win and show that we're on the right track. I mean, we just want to keep pushing that forward. So now we can continue to bring in, you know, high-level players that fit what we do, and then also be able to bring in high-level transfers. Transfers are, you know, they're just such a critical piece to it. You see even on the men's side, you know, them being able to bring in those high-level transfers. Well, now they're attracted because of the program and the success they've had. The more success you have, the more able you're going to be able to attract some of those high-level players and transfers.
What kind of development have you seen from Letty, and what's that acclimation process look like for her?
You know, she's come along, I think we're in week 5 right now, and she's come a long ways just getting number 1 conditioning, right? That's always the big thing for bigs. So she's made some really great strides with that, and that's number 1, because you can't play if you're not in condition. So really proud of her for that growth. And then just every day she gets better. She's really coachable. She listens and then she applies, and she's working hard. If you do that, good things are going to continue to happen. And she's able, again, defensively, we got to keep bringing her along, so where she can be a little bit more physical, understand how we cover ball screens and all that, that'll come. And then, you know, offensively, she just has such great hands, like great hands for a big. She finishes really well around the rim, and we got to get her the ball down there, because I mean her hands are great.
With Jasmine, someone you recruited at Dayton, you know, you referenced relationships earlier, but how do you kind of keep those relationships alive to where if someone's back in the portal again, you can kind of rekindle things and you're not almost starting from scratch?
Yeah, I think we've done I've said this a lot, I think we've done, in, you know, my time as a head coach, we've done a really good job of getting transfers the second time. I don't know if that means I'm a bad recruiter the first time or good the second, I don't know, but we've been able to get kids the second time around, and they've all had success here. So number 1, you never burn bridges. When there's real, true relationships, yeah, you know, it's disappointing when someone tells you no, but you have to understand that that's what they thought was best. And then obviously through that relationship that you built, usually it was a really hard decision. On the kids we lost, it was like, it's a really hard decision, but you know, at Dayton it was they wanted to go Power 5, and here it's just been like maybe they didn't, you know, like when we recruited Jasmine here, it was our first year, we hadn't won it all, we hadn't done anything. So then she saw maybe, okay, they can do it, I can do it in my home state. I just think it's all about those relationships, staying true to them, and then, you know, just when they tell you no, don't be a jerk and get mad at them. Like, sure. it's their decision, and then a lot of times when they decide to go in that portal, they call us, and you know, it's worked out for us. And I think just the success that our transfers have had has been really key for us.
What would you say are the strengths and weaknesses between these 2 transfers worth working on?
Yeah, I mean, both of them, obviously, they're different. Jasmine and Letty are totally different players, so they bring in different skill sets. It's just the learning curve of learning new stuff. But Jazz, I've challenged her the last couple days defensively. I think she can be one of the best defenders on the team. Like, she's that capable of doing that. I know she's going to score. I know that's going to come, but I want her to be able to take on, hey, I'm going to come and I'm going to lock up the best player of the other team. Because it can't just be Dell. It can't just be Makaira. We need someone, and Jazz has that ability. And then Letty, it's going to take, it's a process. It's a process of again, conditioning, getting her to understand defense. The offense is going to be the easy part for Letty. So, and getting them really comfortable in what we do and in the system on both ends of the floor of our expectations.
obligatory recruiting question. I know you won it early, 25 kids. You had talked about that, but you're in on some very high level players. Like, how's that going, and how have you kind of adjusted to maybe not having that early jump on? Still in the mix there.
You know, the higher level kid that you're in the mix on, obviously the more stressful, number one, and number two, they're going to probably wait because they're going to go on visits. I mean, even one of our top recruits in 25 just picked up a couple new offers from some pretty big time schools, and now they may go and take a couple more visits. That's part of the process. They're going to go check those out. Now especially, you can have unlimited official visits. So these kids could go on 10, 15 official visits if they wanted to. So we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, and you just have to really trust the work that you've put in. You know, on every kid in the 25 class that we have been there the longest, and we've been there from the beginning, and you gotta trust those relationships, you gotta trust the work. And then, you know, if it's meant to be and they really are true to what they want, then, you know, hopefully we can get a couple of them. And then we also have to have that next, you know, you have your top kids and you got to have that next level ready to go too. Because the as you guys know, the higher and higher ranked and the better player, the harder it is to get them.
Of your upperclassmen vets like Kyra, Jen, KB, I imagine the improvements needed are more fine-tuning in their game. Have you seen that in 5 weeks in?
You know, they're all at a high level right now, and that's good to see. You know, Kyra obviously had some, you know, in and out and some injuries, and last summer wasn't able to have a full summer. This is her first full summer in college because of, you know, she's been healthy. If we can stay healthy, those guys look really, really good. I love where they're at. They're really sharp. They're almost mid-season. They didn't really skip a beat at all. And that has helped us so much. And it's also helped us bring along our younger kids. Now they see, okay, this is what it looks like. I mean, they know our system so well. They know all the breakdown, all the fundamentals, so they look really, really sharp. And it's a great learning tool for our younger guys to be able to see, hey, that's what it looks like. That's how hard you have to go. That's how hard you have to defend. That's what you got to do in communication. They've just been great. I could not be more pleased with where our upperclassmen are and how they've grown, even leadership. I think Adalia, her leadership this summer has been off the charts. And that's something we've talked about for 2 years of her communicating and talking. And now you can tell she's like, okay, like, this is my team, you know, and all those guys. It's our team, it's my team, like, no regrets.
Looking for the best deal on your next vehicle? Visit Sarah Champagne, where your dream car awaits. From sleek sedans to rugged SUVs, they've got it all. Their unbeatable prices and exceptional customer service make car buying a breeze. Plus, with their hassle-free financing options, driving off in your new ride has never been easier. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, Subaru, Buick, GMC. Visit them today, Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, Champagne.com.
The Champaign County Fair is July 19th through July 27th, featuring Josh Turner.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low.
And Tiger Lily Gold on the grandstand stage. Friday, July 26th. Stevie J Broadcasting is getting qualifiers now as you text in Josh to 217-359-2255 to try to win a free pair of tickets, making the summer sweeter than a lemon shake-up. The Darwin Boston Soundstage at the Mahomet Music Festival will have country artist Drew Baldridge, Van Dylan Scott,
When I see my girl.
performing at this huge event downtown. The carnival scene, vendors, food court, and of course music makes Mahomet the place to be August 24th. With these great performers and a parade earlier in the day, get into the weekend Friday, August 23rd with some great entertainment as you celebrate the end of summer. Learn more at MahometMusicFest.com.
Good food, good mood. Street Fest is coming to downtown Champaign Saturday, August 3rd from 2 to 9 p.m. at Walnut and Market Streets. Take note of Street Fest returning to downtown Champaign with a jam-packed evening of music and entertainment, the new mouth-watering food festival with a downtown throwdown. The event is free to the public and open to all ages. So bring your own chair and find out more details now. Street Fest, presented by the City of Champaign and powered by Champaign Center Partnership, is looking for support of community sponsors. Head to ChampaignCenter.com for details. Get in on some terrific bands like Curb Service, Modern Drugs, Terminus Victor, and Rebirth Brass Band. When it comes to food at Street Fest, you'll love the hot dog and pasta competition from some of our favorite local restaurants. Learn more at ChampaignCenter.com.
Find the look you love for less at Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Explore their wide selection of quality pieces, from cozy sofas to exquisite dining sets from all the top name brands. With personalized service and expert advice, their team makes finding the perfect piece effortless. Create the home of your dreams with Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Exceptional customer service and the best prices since 1959. Stop by today or visit them online at kelseyfurniture.com.
Is The Drive, ESPN Radio 93.5. Tomorrow is Friday. This will be, and I understand, Kyle, I missed an hour today. This will be my first full week of work at the radio station in like 3 months. Or 4.
Congrats.
When did high school baseball start? Jimmy, when does high school baseball start?
Around mid-March.
March?
Unfortunately, around here, that's a bit early.
Well said.
Bundle up.
March, April, May, June, July. It's actually like 5 months. I'm tired.
Are we counting today or?
Well, I mean,
he was here.
Yeah, I made the effort. This fly is still around here.
Yeah.
I just told you guys there is a fly. How big is the fly?
Oh, not
like
big.
3 centimeters?
Yeah. I don't know if it'd even get that big.
Probably not. I don't even like on a ruler. What's the little?
Millimeters, maybe?
Is it I don't even know.
I don't even know, but it's
a teacher right now is going, oh, these kids.
As soon as we get off the air in 4 minutes, I am hunting this thing down. I am done with this fly.
It has dominated us. Like it's dominated you two for 2 hours.
Yeah, oh, man, it was killing me during the pipe. Thank God we had pipes on to just go on and on about Illinois. He had some great stuff because I was busy swatting a fly off the board.
But what I admire about him or her, I don't know, do flies, are they like male and female?
I would assume so.
What I admire about it is that it goes from person to person. Like it'll come over and harass me for about maybe 28 seconds, and then it'll fly over to Jimmy, browse your head, and then he'll fly over to Kyle. I mean, this fly has absolutely dominated us today, and kudos to him. I mean, or it or she.
Tip of the cap, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, you got to give it up to him because it's been pretty impressive. All right, no baseball again tonight. How are you guys doing without baseball?
The video game's gotten it. I still got 4 hours left. I've used
go all out.
I was going to ask that the first hour. Have you used up all your hours?
4 hours to go.
So tonight's a big night for you.
Yep, there's a season finale of a show that I've been watching. So
okay.
I'll watch that with some of my buddies, and then I'll probably head back.
Then it's time.
And then it's time.
Are you then tomorrow? It's unlimited.
For me, I mean, I haven't bought it yet. I was just waiting for the price to become the regular price.
Gotcha.
I'll get it for like $60 instead of like $100.
Those fools like me that pre-ordered it.
I know.
Except I've been on it every night, pretty much all night. I sit down and all of a sudden, ooh, it's 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Wow, that went by real fast.
Any adult stuff you have to do tonight, Kyle, like laundry or anything?
In fact, you mentioned that I actually do have to do laundry
Well, the good thing about laundry, you just throw it in. And then
clean my apartment because it's not in the best shape right now.
No, it's fine. Don't you be cleaning anything. You got college
Especially,
football.
my mom's not planning to come down anytime soon, so I can leave it for now.
Yeah, and she would expect it to not be like, your mom kind of clean.
We got to clean it for the kegger, though.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
When is that happening? Soon?
You know
what I do want to do?
Date.
I did tell Pipes, though, I do want to go over to Kyle his apartment, and I want to watch you and Pipes square off in college football, and I'll just sit there and drink a beer. Is that fair?
Sounds good to me.
I mean, I'll just sit there and take it in and just see what this is all about because I want to see this game. I want to see this game in person. All right. No Cardinals baseball tonight.
But tomorrow.
Right
here on 93.5.
Cardinals are at Atlanta, and the Cubbies start at
Wrigley against the D-backs.
Oh.
There's a big 6-game homestand for the Cubbies, so that's on 105.9.
Corbin Burns, expect him to just light it up the next 3 games. Is that right?
If he pitches all 3.
Or wait. Who am I thinking of? The little dude.
Oh, Gunnar Henderson?
No, who's the little dude?
Oh, Atlanta.
Now for Arizona, he's a hitter.
Oh, Arizona.
Corbin Carroll.
Yeah.
He's been struggling.
Oh, yes?
Yeah.
I knew his name. There's 2 Corbins in Major League Baseball? Never even heard of that name, and there's 2 of them? Corbin Burns and Corbin
Carroll. Who won Rookie of the Year last year.
Does anybody else listening right now have a son